What's going on, guys? Welcome to Golden Setups. I'm your host, Golden Focus, here to share with you another How I Traded SPX. What a day, what a day. Today was a beautiful, beautiful drop. I know some people who are in, they have stocks and investments. It's not so good for them, but for options traders, this was an amazing day. We've seen contracts go up 3,500%. I mean, it was pretty huge jump for these contracts. But I got in late. Had to take care of my wife and my children, and want to continue to do my best to be a good father and a good husband. And so, in reverse order. But I did wait for a good entry. Let's look at today real quick. And so here we are. We're looking at SPY. I got SPY down here on the 5 minute. We got SPY up here on the 1 minute. We were dropping pretty heavy. I remember looking at this thinking, like, man, where do I get in? Trying to catch a falling knife. But all I did was follow my trade plan, and I got in. I got the 1 minute right up here. All right. You can see where I got in. I went ahead and drew a trend line right here, entered in right around here. All right. This looks like 1028. 1028. Got in right around here, and then just let it ride down. And I just watched it as it went from level to level to level. Then we started getting a little bit more choppy as we got further down. It was a lot more flagging. And when the flagging starts to get close like this, it's a little bit of sauce for you guys. When the flagging starts to get close like this, there is there could be an impending reversal here. And so I wrote it all the way down here. I got out at 1054 at roughly around 230% or 30 something percent. Hold on, I have a screenshot here, and I'll make it nice and big so you can see here. 238% here, right? I think I got out at 230 because at the moment I closed the trade, after taking a screenshot, I lost that 8%. I got to figure out a better way to do this. But nevertheless, got out here. You can see or here 1054 is when I got out. And so I did leave some money on the table. We did drop some more, but here's the reason why I got out. So you get into a trade, you got to ask yourself, okay, where am I getting out, right? You don't just get into a trade and you just stay in it perpetually, right? Where am I getting out? And number one, the first thing I saw here on my 5 minute chart, there's a red line. There's a red level here. This is an important level. This level here on my 5 minute chart, it is a very, very strong hourly level. So that's number one. So I wanted to sell into strength on the way down to this level. All right. That's number one. And you can see how these levels are, super important levels, really good levels. You can even see like over here on the 1 minute, as we finally got down to this level, we just had a hard time breaking down below that level. We finally got down below it. But then after that, we couldn't even reach the next level, and then we popped back up, double bottomed, and then the rest was history. We went up from there. And so these levels are really important, very surgical. But here's the reason why I got out. Number one was this level on the hourly that I have here. And then let's go to the higher time frames. This is my higher time frame chart. I'll explain this in a minute. Watch this. So up here at the top is my 1 hour, right? I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. I know it's gonna look a little messy, but hey, I get it, I understand it. All right. And so you can see what I did with this line here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this one right here. Let's clean this up a little bit. All right. You can see with this line here, I drew a trend line. You guys know I am a trend line trader. I study trend lines. Trend lines are my thing. And I do have a very specific trade plan that I follow, and that I share with quite a few people and help people to actually develop their own trade plan as well. At goldensetups.com, check that out. There's a trade review portion towards the middle of the page. Anyhow, we went all the way down here. Yeah, that's a one-on-one. If anybody's interested, 101, 2-on-2s, group coaching. But nevertheless, I drew a trend line all the way down. Okay, and you can see how this trend line is being respected, right? We got 1 touch here, 2 touch here, 3 touch here. Now this is on the hourly on ES. Okay, this is the hourly on ES. This is not SPY. I use ES as a source of truth because ES, SPY, SPX, they all move in tandem. All right, so this is ES here, and you can see it became, it was resistance, 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 resistance. Then we popped up above it. We came back down on it, and then it became support, right? It became support over here. All right, it became support, and then after that, we flew up all the way out up here. We couldn't stay up here. We didn't have enough strength to actually break up above this. This 1 day. We're in a 1 day supply zone. That means that there's sellers up here, a lot of sell orders up here. So once again, just like last time, we came up into the supply zone, rejected out. Came up again into the supply zone, rejected out. Here we are up in the supply zone again. We tried to break free, but we rejected out again. These supply zones matter, and if you guys want to get a heads up on any other supply zones, check out that level up newsletter that we have, goldensetups.com. Nevertheless, coming back over here again, so this trend line was resistance 1, 2, 3, 4 times on this 1 minute chart. Then it became support over here, bounced up, then we came down. All right, and this is why I wanted to get out, right? This is why I want to get out. It's rare that, once we break up above a trend line and it holds up as support, that we break down below it, right? We just break down below it as if it's just like this fluid, very not strong or weak level, right? And so, or weak trend line, or weak level, I would say. I look at trend lines as diagonal lines of support and resistance, and you can see here's an example of it on the hourly. And so yeah, we came all the way down to it, and I wanted to sell into strength. One of my challenges is like, I want to be able to start practicing selling. If I'm in puts, sell on red candles. If I'm in calls, I'm going to sell into strength in green candles. And so that's what I did. And I'm happy that I got out where I did. I got out somewhere, somewhere towards the end of this candle right here, as we were approaching towards the end of this candle. And this is the 10 o'clock candle. This is the 11 o'clock candle. So I got out 10:54, somewhere near the end of this candle right here. I was happy. New candle opened up. We went up. We hit this hourly level that I'm hovering over right now. And then after that, we did drop down. It looked weak. FOMO started kicking in, but I was like, no. I checked out where we opened up, and we opened up above this trend line, meaning there's a real possibility that we can get sucked back up, being that we opened actually above this trend line that I was just talking about that held up as support. And lo and behold, not only did we get sucked back up, but then after that we started moving up again. Now that's the reason why I got out, right? So I showed you this level here. This is a strong hourly level here. All right, between that strong hourly level, between this trend line, those are some reasons where we could see some really hard resistance. And so that's the reason why I got out. So that was my trade for the day, 238% on SPX. And to be quite honest, it's really not that much compared to, if you were to get into this trade a lot earlier. I mean, I would watch contracts go from $1 a contract, so you could have spent $100 and it went up to like $37, right? So $1, $100 would have turned into like, $3,700 or something like that. So it was crazy. The numbers were crazy, but hey, I'm happy. I got my predictable piece of the pie. That's what this is about. I want to get my predictable piece of the pie every day. I actually opened up another small account, and I'm going to be adding 30% to that account every day. I'm starting with $100. We're going to see how this turns out. See if I can actually do this, and I'll document it here. And at the end of 30 days, adding 30%. It's supposed to be about 4 or 5 figures. So we'll see how that turns out, and I might open that up with some people who want to do the challenge with me, small account challenge. This is like maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've done this, but we'll see. It's a very interesting time to trade. Trading is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. It can be very difficult unless you have a trade plan. If you have a trade plan, that is everything. And I do help people with their trade plans, but trade plan is everything. And it's just knowing when to get in, your entry, when to get out, what's your exit, and what's your stop loss, and just being able to replicate that day after day after day. Then earlier on today, after that trade, I did put out some free signals on SPX, but we never broke the conservative entry on those on that signal. Actually, it was just one. And so this is what I'm watching, and I'll just share this with you guys. This is what I'm watching for tomorrow. And so, you know, I had a aggressive break here. You can see that trend line. Actually, we'll come down here to the 30-minute here. We had an aggressive break here. All right. And so there's that entry. I'm not actually swinging this. I told everyone that I'm actually just going to be watching this, and then I have my conservative entry, and then I got my 3 targets. And so we'll see how this pans out. I'm very interested to see how this pans out. We're moving relatively slowly. I didn't even think we were going to break this today. I said if we do break this, it's because, you know, if Tesla collapses, and Tesla did end up, you know, breaking down. And so but it didn't bring ES, SPY, and SPX down enough to actually make this trade worth getting into. So anyways, that's there for anybody. Nevertheless, make sure you manage your own trade. Yeah, other than that, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Make sure you guys go check out goldensetups.com for if you need help with trade planning, you need help with coaching, definitely book a session. I'm here to help, and then we're here to help. And also, stop losing trades, trade confident, and don't forget to live life. Last thing as well, guys, make sure you check out that Telegram channel where I am letting people know about news, updates. It's free, by the way. News, updates, and also from time to time, like this, what we're seeing right now, I will give out some free signals. All right. Take care, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day.